Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. I'm Audrey, a paralegal turned stay-at-home mom who loves true crime. The cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is very strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. With all that being said, grab your hot Cheetos and let's get started on today's case. Today's case takes us to Deltona, Florida. It was the morning of Wednesday, October 23rd of 2013. At about 6 a.m., Felicita Nieves Perez got to her office and started working. By 8 a.m., she started to worry because her 28-year-old daughter, Yesenia Suarez, would usually call her mom while she got ready for work or to take the kids to school. Yesenia and her mom spoke every single morning between 7 and 7:30 a.m. Felicita called Yesenia's place of work and they told her that she was working from home on that day, but had also not heard from Yesenia. Felicita then called Yesenia's husband, Luis Toledo, and he did not answer the phone. By 10 a.m., she had still not heard from Yesenia, so Felicita called her other daughter, Emily, who also had not heard from Yesenia. They called the police and asked them to do a welfare check. Felicita got into her car and drove to her daughter's house, and she got there at the same time as police did, and a couple minutes later, Luis Toledo arrived as well. Felicita and police asked Luis where Yesenia was, and he said that Yesenia had left in the middle of the night while he was sleeping, and he did not know where she could possibly be. Police entered the home and nothing seemed out of place. The house was clean. There wasn't a mess. In fact, there was a basket of neatly folded laundry. Felicita called the school and was advised that the kids never made it to school on that day, which was also very odd because Yesenia valued her children's education. It was really important to her, and the kids rarely ever missed school unless they were very sick. Something was wrong. Nothing made sense. Yesenia would never leave her family. Yesenia Yvette Suarez was born on August 17th of 1985. She was very hardworking, very responsible. She was working on her bachelor's degree at Rollins College. The police took the case very seriously from the start, and in like most cases, the first person they look into is the spouse, in this case, Luis Toledo. They had met 5 years earlier while Yesenia was already a single mother of her 2 kids, Thalia and Michael Elijah Otto. They met at a Latin festival. Yesenia had gone with her sister, and during this festival, a fight broke out, and Yesenia was hit on the nose in the middle of the mayhem, and she started to bleed and fainted. Like a knight in shining armor, Luis came to her rescue and carried her to the paramedics. They hit it off and were inseparable ever since. Luis worked in maintenance, but he had an extensive criminal background and formed part of the Latin Kings while he served 4 years in prison. Decided to give him a chance. He was studying to be a barber, and after dating 2 years, they got married and bought a house in Deltona, Florida, and went to church every Saturday. Luis Toledo became a stay-at-home stepdad, taking Michael Elijah to his baseball practices and taking Thalia to her cheerleading practices. Luis started working as an informant for authorities, demonstrating even further how he was a quote-unquote changed man. After 2 years of marriage, he got comfortable and stopped cleaning the house, stopped taking the kids to practice, quería estar de vago en la casa, and this is when the problems started. Since their separation, they were still living together as a matter of convenience. Yesenia actually started having a romantic relationship with a coworker, and Luis was already suspicious of this relationship and confronted her about it. The day before she went missing, on October 21st of 2013, Luis showed up to her job y se armó un show. Caused a scene at her workplace in front of her coworkers. He wanted to talk to the other guy. Yesenia tried talking him down and taking him to her office, where he proceeded to repeatedly slap her. The coworkers called 911, and when they arrived, Luis had already left, but he was charged with domestic violence. Luis even called his mother-in-law Felicita, crying, asking that she talk to her daughter Yesenia into dropping the charges against him. When Yesenia left work, she picked up her kids from her mom's house, where Luis was calling, threatening that if she even thought about getting a restraining order against him, she would later come to regret it. Her mom said that she left the house to get a restraining order and returned saying that she had changed her mind. Yesenia told her mom that getting a restraining order would make things worse, and they were going to talk. Yesenia asked if Luis could come over to Felicita's house so they could talk, and she said yes. Luis came to the house and talked with Yesenia. They argued, voices were raised, and he later left. They had decided to go separate ways. Yesenia had 2 cars and had agreed to let him keep one. On top of that, she had agreed to give him more money.